Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Jenny Franklin and I'm the admin over on Melt and Pour Soap Making 101 over on Facebook. And today I'm working on the second soap in our summer soap challenge. And today's soap I'm going to do, I wanted to do maybe a root beer float. But I've recently made a couple of brown and white soaps and I didn't really want to do brown again. So I thought about maybe orange soda with the vanilla ice cream. We had those sometimes as kids. They were kind of like a creamsicle or dreamsicle. I'm not sure what you call them where you're from, but we called them creamsicles. But it was kind of like a creamsicle float. So that was kind of my inspiration for this soap. And I looked up those on Pinterest. And I saw a couple cool drinks that I liked that I decided I was going to try to replicate in this soap. So at the end of the video, I will try to insert those photos and show you the inspiration. So to get started, I have in this container 18 ounces of clear melt and pour. And in this one, I have 36 ounces of goat milk melt and pour. So first I'm going to get this one melted and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we've melted down the 18 ounces of clear melt and pour, and it is at 144 right now. There was just a chunk or two that hadn't quite melted, but I think those have already dissolved. And I'm going to color this. I want this to be like the bottom, the orange soda part, you know, at the bottom of the float. So I'm using electric orange from Nurture Soap. It's a really pretty bright orange. So I'm going to use that to get this nice and vibrant, and then I'm going to scent it with the orange soda pop from Nature's Garden. These are little micro scoops. I know it looks like I'm putting in a ton, but they're teeny tiny scoops and they're not filling up all the way each time. Okay, I think that looks really nice. And I have the scale over here off of the towel, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the fragrance here. It smells exactly like orange soda. What do you guys call it? Do you call it soda? Do you call it, I think some places like further south than me just call it a Coke, and I guess some people call it pop, but I call it soda. And this one is, well, this one is orange soda pop, so. Okay. Okay, so that's about a third full. I'm going to spritz away the bubbles, and I'm going to layer this soap, so I'm going to let this set up and get a nice skin on it, and then I'll be back to melt the goat's milk and get that added. Okay, we are back, and it's been about 25 minutes, and this is set up nicely. I kind of played with scoring the top to see how well it was going to hold, and you can see it's a little bit spongy and soft, but it's also very firm. So the soap, the skin is pretty thick on it, and the soap underneath is still a little squishy and wet, so it's not quite set. So I'm going to go ahead and score the top. I'm just using the opposite end of my skewer. and just make a few hash marks just to kind of help everything adhere. All right. And I always give it a spray now and let that kind of get on there. And then I'm going to add just a tiny bit of this orange to the white. I want it to be just barely tinted. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the fragrance. Okay. I'm going to get that stirred in well, and I think it's at a pretty good temperature to pour. It feels about right, but I'll go ahead and check it just to be sure, so we'll have a point of reference. This fragrance is so citrusy. You can see the oils floating on top. It'll take a second to get it incorporated. It's at 126, 129. I'm going to pop it back in the microwave for just a few seconds. I want it to be a little bit closer to about 135. Oops. Okay, it's at 134.9. So I'm going to go ahead and spray the top and add just a little. So go ahead and get it started, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the embeds. So for the embeds, I just made 2 bars of orange soap in the regular bar mold, and then I shredded those in my salad shooter. So I'm going to put these in just to give a little bit of interest to the soap. I'm going to spray those with alcohol and then just kind of sprinkle them in. Just kind of trying to get those in there enough so I can kind of see. I don't want it to be super heavy. I just want to give it a little bit of interest to kind of make it look like the the orange soda is maybe seeping up into the ice cream. That's why I went ahead and tinted the white with the orange, just to give it kind of a creamy look. I think maybe just a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to let that set up. And then on the top, I'm going to go ahead and make that just that creamy layer. And then I have some little, the little soap embeds, you know, to put on the top. So I'm going to let this get a nice skin on it, and I'll be back when it's ready. Okay, we're back one more time, and it's only been 5 minutes, but because of the embeds that we put in, it didn't take the soap long to cool. So you can see it has a skin on it. It's not as firm as the first layer was, but it is firm enough for me to pour, and it's not really going to matter. This, I just wanted it to be without embeds, but if it kind of melts in, it isn't going to matter. So I'm not going to bother to score it or anything. It's still, you know, pretty soft. So I'm just going to spray it with rubbing alcohol. And I did reheat this soap for about 15 seconds in the microwave. It's at 127, yeah, so right around 127. So I'm okay with that temperature to pour. Okay, so I left just a little bit, probably about 3 or 4 ounces left to fill to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and spray that, and I'm going to let that firm up and get a nice skin, and then I'm going to get maybe 3 or 4 ounces of clear melt and pour, and then I'm going to use that to seat the embeds in the top. So as soon as this sets up and has a skin on it, I will be back. Okay, so we are back, and I've melted down about 4.5 ounces of clear melt and pour, and I think the top is ready. It has a pretty thick skin on it, but you can feel again that the soap underneath is a little bit soft, and it was about 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and score the top just very lightly. I just wanted to make sure that the clear adheres well, so when we cut it, our embeds don't pop off the top. And it's okay if it leaves it a little bit lumpy, because it's really not going to matter. These layers don't need to be perfectly straight. Okay. And I did go ahead and score the backs of the little oranges while I was waiting for it to cool. So I'm going to go ahead and spray that. I'm going to pour just a little bit of the clear. Just want just enough so that I have something to put my embeds on. And I did look at the size of these embeds, and they are right at about the size that I cut my soap bars. So I'm not really being super specific as far as measurements, because I think it's all going to be about the same when you cut it. I'm just going to pour some of the remaining clear melt and pour around just to make sure that everything is sealed in. Basically just flooding the top just to make sure all of the embeds will stay seated well when I cut the soap, and that everything is all about the same height. So, okay, and that's it. There's a couple little air bubbles in there. Okay. Alright guys, that's it. So I'm going to let this firm up, and I'll be back to cut it, and we'll see what it looks like on the inside. Okay everyone, we're back and our soap is ready. Just thought I'd show you the top real fast. And I'm going to go ahead and slice it into bars. There's the first cut. I really like the way these turned out. They're cute. They smell great. The orange soda is definitely a nice citrus scent. I'm glad I decided to do orange. I thought about grapefruit with this, but I thought the orange was a little bit better fitting for the drink theme. But this would be a really nice soap with grapefruit too. It's cute. Okay, that's it. Alright guys, I'll post the photos as well at the end of the video. Thanks so much.